Hello, everyone. I'm Sheldon Bartlett-Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. I am so excited that I get to meet and speak to amazing people doing amazing things. And today is just one of those days. Again, over the river and through the woods, we are meeting people all over the country that are doing very, very fun things. Balancing life, and all that comes with it. But we get to meet my new friend here. How are you, darling? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here and so excited to talk to you.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so for all of our This Is It TV viewers out there, if you could let them know your first and last name and the name of your business or entity.
So my name is Kate Casey, and I'm the host of the Reality Life with Kate Casey podcast. I am a writer and a stand-up comedian and a host of a podcast.
Oh, I love so much fun. Okay, I think I'm funny. So my husband has a thing. He says, my husband thinks he's funny and I'm fun. He's like, Sheldon, you're fun, but you're not funny. I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Like, did you always know you were funny?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I actually did. Yeah. I feel like, well, I'm from Philadelphia, and I feel like most people from Philadelphia have like a dark, sick sense of humor. But I just always knew that I had great timing. And I felt like adults would always tell me that, like, you've got really good comedic timing. I think the first time I really knew I was onto something was in college. I remember I wrote a story about Thanksgiving, like a typical Thanksgiving at our home, and talked about all the weird relatives and the people that come and go. And I remember the professor said afterwards, like, you really have something here. But I had, and I encourage anybody who's in college to do this, is to write down, like, what are the areas that you would like to get into as far as your career. And I always knew I wanted to do politics, journalism, and comedy.
Okay.
So in the first chapter of my life, I pursued politics, and I pursued a degree in political science, worked in Washington. The second chapter was journalism. So I had my own PR firm for like 17 years representing law firms. So I did global legal PR. And now the third chapter is comedy. Oh. So you can pursue all avenues of those things that you truly are passionate about. And sometimes you have to wait for that next chapter to begin because you need enough life experience to really make yourself as successful as you should be. So there are possibilities. It's not the old days where you work for the electric company for 50 years. You can recreate yourself many, many times over. So this third chapter is a whole lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. I love it. And I teach personal branding at Temple University, which I love. Yes, which I love. And that is one of the things that I teach to my folks as well. These young people who are kind of tormented with this, I want to do this and I want to do that. I'm like, what? It's not a race. You can figure it out, breathe and exhale. This is the time to figure out what it is that you're doing, as opposed to, a lot of people that I'm talking to now that happen to be 40, 45 years old. And he's like, a friend of mine is like, I want to get into sports. So I was like, okay, maybe you can figure that out. But at the same time, it's about going after those things and being kind of patient in the journey. At least you had it all mapped out, knowing that you would circle back to comedy in some way, which I think is wonderful. Why a podcast? Why was that an ideal medium for you to get your message out?
So I was a guest on a podcast, and I just loved the medium, and I loved the idea that it was a new medium. My husband works in technology, and he has always created businesses that were sort of the forerunner. Yeah. And so I thought of myself in that way, like, I want to be ahead of the curve in something, and so the platform podcasting is unbelievable, and I feel like everybody's starting to realize the value of it now. But I just really loved it, and I loved how personal I could make it. I'm surprised that many people care about my personal life. It's not that really interesting to me, but sometimes it's like the personal stories about my life that people like even more.
But it's the authentic self. Even with This Is It TV, I mean, we'll get so much traction on people just, I ate this, or this is what happened with my daughter, or my son is now able to walk, and it's like, oh my God. Speaking of, how are you, my friends? Hi, look. Oh, I love the cameos. It's so good. It's so good. So delicious.
I know.
Delicious. But this is all
problem. I'm a baby hoarder. I can't stop.
You're a baby hoarder to the point that you have how many?
I have 5 kids, and they're all under 9 years old. Yeah.
Does everybody understand what she's saying? 5 children under the age of 9. Unheard of. I called her a unicorn when we were talking before, because it's like unheard of animal that's out there by choice doing this. And I think that, I mean, we need more of you. Loving mothers, we need more of you.
I would tell the young people at Temple too, you know, that podcasting is great that way too, because you could have a family and work around your schedule. It is possible to have kids and still pursue what you want to do. And in fact, I find that I'm getting the most success of my life I just turned 41.
Yeah, I just said it. I turned 41 on the 3rd of September. There was no apologies as it relates to it. I just had a baby a year ago. I am living my best life. I am living a space where I have the career that I wanted. And I was one of those 22-year-olds. I don't know if you were. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right, all this nervousness? But there was no way that I could be doing what I'm doing now and have it at all interesting at 22. Like the only way that I could talk to women between the ages of 30 and 55 and do it in a comfortable way is to be a woman between the ages of 30 and 55 and know and lived the way that I've lived. So does that help you as well? Or is it a situation where you found that your life experiences has helped with the content?
Definitely. I went to a boarding school for high school called the Milton Hershey School, which not a lot of people have heard about. So Milton and Catherine Hershey couldn't have children of their own. Milton, the chocolate magnet. So he started a school for orphaned boys. And in 1976, he changed the deed of trust to accept girls. So it's a free education for those kids that are financially or emotionally needy. So all of the kids that go to the school come from single parent families, orphan families. Yeah. My classmates are from the inner city, live in the projects. And so I had the pleasure as a high school kid to live away from home and to live with people of every race, creed, demographic.
Oh my God.
So the first part of my professional career, it was about just learning more about law and journalism. But now I feel like that early life experience of living with other people, learning to be a curious person really helps in interviewing people. And I feel like there's a little bit of a grace period that I give people, but there's also like a no BS filter that I've got because of it. But I don't feel like I would have been as good at my job had I not had those earlier life experiences.
Yeah, no, absolutely
different. So every life experience that you have makes you unique. So yeah, I'm really grateful for everything that's happened in my life. And I'm actually grateful that I've had this experience later because I don't think I would have appreciated it as much. And I feel like people are really, they like to see somebody who still has a family and can still make it work.
Absolutely. And it's that balancing act. I mean, you're balancing right now. Thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. But it's going to be a continuous thing. I mean, your youngest is how old?
2 weeks old.
2 weeks. I can't. 2 weeks old, under 9. It's going to be a balancing act from now and for a little bit, quite some time, and being able to balance it. But I think that that's in what makes it so intriguing, the entrepreneurial spirit, at least on my end, where it's really about that dance, right? Like, am I going to get all this done? Maybe not, but I'm going to try my hardest. And the things that have to wait till tomorrow will just, in fact, wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll just wait till tomorrow. I love that. But I want to pop back to the podcast. You know, some people say, us crazy people who like to interview people, but we're also, as much as we like to get the information out, we love to listen. Do you find that you're a great listener as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate my mom for teaching me that, and the importance of being a curious person. Something I really teach my children is to be curious, ask people questions. I find that says so much more about a person, about how much they ask you versus how much they talk about themselves.
I mean,
100%.
No, you are my people. Yes.
And I think you have to ask people questions to learn. You'll learn more about yourself the more you listen to someone, despite what people believe. Yeah. Keep your mouth shut and just listen to other people.
Just listen to other people. And they'll tell you exactly who they are and how they view you, and then how you fit into their lives if you just simply listen, which I think is absolutely amazing. I am so excited that you had the opportunity to join us. And I want to talk a little bit more about, just briefly, about the podcast itself. What is the premise of the podcast?
So it's called Reality Life with Kate Casey, and I consider myself the Diane Sawyer of reality television. I've got this weird savant thing where I remember things about people. The only people that I've heard that have something similar is like Bill Clinton has that, where I will remember everything you ever told me about your life, your kids, everything.
Oh my God.
Sydney and Chase, I will remember that forever, that those are your kids, and one was 7 and one was 1. I will never forget it. So I'm like a vault with reality television. So I created a podcast so I could track down people who used to be on reality television shows and ask them, like, what's your life like now?
I love that.
I spoke to Norman Corby, first season of The Real World, first person to be out on television. How did that change his life? How did it change the culture? So I've interviewed over 100 people on reality shows, as well as casting agents, producers, getting in kind of like an inside look at reality shows. And then I have 2 other segments where I ask people to review an episode of reality television. And sometimes it's hilarious. It's a comedian who reviews like 90 Day Fiance on TLC. But then I had David James, who worked for the Obama administration, and reviewed Real Housewives of Potomac. And I got to ask him cultural things about, like, okay, this is basically like a Black cast, and this is how they, their relationship is, this one woman's relationship is with her mother. Yeah. Like, she helps her mother out financially. I will never help my parents out financially, so I don't understand it. And he's like, okay, well, let me give you the background. So it's stuff like that where I get to connect with people and understand other people by discussing reality television, which is a fantastic platform to just look at different people and the way they live in the world.
And based on the way in which the shows, I never thought about it this way, but the way in which the shows are curated, you know what I mean? The way in which they're intentionally forced, I can't. But the way in which they're intentionally, thought-provoking or conversation starters that really can be applied to our everyday lives and through conversation. How amazing is that? I truly love that. And did you have one more type of segment, or was that it? So
I ask 2 people in every episode to review. So like last week I had the producer of Surreal Life, Rock of Love, and Flavor Flav's Flavor of Love. Hilarious. Great stories. And then I had Trishelle Canatella from Real World review Bachelor in Paradise. So funny. And then who else did I have? Melissa Rycroft. She was on The Bachelor years ago. She's a judge on the Dallas Cowboys making the team show. And she told me what it's really like to audition for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. It was so fun. And it's an hour once a week, easy to listen to, nail salon, running errands, on the way to work. While you're working, while you're breastfeeding, while you're hanging out with the kids, while you're grocery shopping, whatever it is.
How wonderful is this? I love this concept. I love that you were able to join me today. This is so super great. I want to make sure that everybody out there can follow Fan and like you and can tune into you whenever they have time. Where would they find more information about what you got going on?
So you can find my podcast anywhere where you listen to podcasts. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere. It's called Reality Life with Kate Casey. We've got a Facebook group. So if you're somebody who loves watching The Bachelor or America's Got Talent or World of Dance or whatever reality TV show you love, join the Facebook group because we deep dive all week long.
Oh my gosh, how fun is this? So is there any reality show off limits? They're all on there. I didn't know that even the dance competition shows.
Everything. Yeah. I interview producers. I'm about to interview a World of Dance producer.
Stop.
So look at me what is, for example, I had American Ninja Warriors executive producer on my show. Awesome. And talked about how so many kids really love the show, and they have an engineering contest where your kids can draw out a plan for an obstacle on American Ninja Warrior. I mean, it's just cool stuff.
Just really cool stuff. And I'm an inquisitive person, and I'm somebody who loves to know, especially the more unique something is, like the more specific something is, the more driven I am by it. I'm like, who makes the Post-it? Like, is there somebody who puts the Post-it together? Like, why is it, you know what I mean? That's the kind of space. So to understand that there are all these moving parts that put together your favorite reality shows, and you get to talk to all of these people, I cannot wait to tune in. And I'm so happy that you were able to join us.
Another fun thing is the Real Housewives casting agent told me that the applications that they get, she's like, if I get another application of someone who has their own swimwear line, like That makes me laugh so hard. They all want to design swimwear. Bizarre. But that episode you got to listen to, because she tells you what they are actually looking for. And what you think they're looking for is not what they're looking for.
Not what they're looking for. You have all of the dish. You have all of the dirt. I cannot wait.
Follow me on Twitter too, at KKCCA. Okay, my Instagram, check out at KKCCA, because I imitate celebrity pictures. So it'll be like Kim Kardashian's outfit, and then I replicate it. I'm running to there right absolutely now. You guys have absolutely no choice. You're welcome. I got to introduce you to Kate. She's absolutely funny and amazing. You must follow Fan and like her. We will make sure that we follow Fan and like her through This Is It TV. We will be back with more This Is It TV after these brief messages. Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you. Are you kidding?
Take care.
Friends.
So fun.